Okie dokie. Welcome back to another live stream here. I'm going to make sure the audio is coming from the DAW into the stream, and then we'll get started here. I'm going to loop this little chorus section. I got the vocals tuned, so we're going to get the vocals in here after we mix. I think we still have to tackle the acoustic guitars here as well. So let's listen how this is sounding. That is sounding pretty good. I'm going to go back here to the beginning, take a quick listen from the top, and we're going to see about getting these acoustic guitars. I think I'm going to do a little bit of work on each of them individually and then mix them all together as a three-piece here, and then we'll add the lead guitar in afterwards. But let's listen. I'm going to mute the lead guitar for... No, we'll leave it in for the moment. Let's see how we're sounding here. Okay. We're going to work at this chorus section. I'm going to mute out the lead guitar for the moment. We'll bring that in a minute here. I am going to drag in the reference track here as well, or my reference track, and then we're going to jump into the individual acoustic guitars and try and get them working together here. Throw in my reference track down here. Cool. We'll make it gray. Make it medium. Make sure it's outside everything there. And then just stick it at the loop here. That way when we're ready to go, we can get started. I'm going to flip to mono here. And we're going to look at this first guitar. EQ first. Pull out some of the muddiness here. I'm going to maybe go a little bit too far there with the EQ dip, because I have a feeling when I add the compressor in here, we're going to get some of that back. I'm only going to do a little bit of compression, and I'm actually going to try and do it on our loudest note here. Cool, just 3 dB reduction there. Let's make sure the volume's even in and out. Sounds fine. Just a little bit of reduction here on this guitar. I'm going to copy these exact settings over and we'll tweak them. I want these guitars to have a little bit of evenness within themselves before I try to match them together. They're not the same person playing the part, and they're not the exact same part either. So they don't have any kind of inherent balance as a pair, and they're not tracked together either. So we kind of have to mix them to get them to work together because they don't inherently work together from the start mix-wise. Obviously, instrumentation-wise and production-wise, they work together, but not instrument-wise from the get-go. So here's our second one. Don't have to pull out as much in the low mids there. Okay, let's see how these are sounding together at the moment. Going into this final chorus. Excellent, cool. We're gonna get a little bit more balance on the bus here when we use. I think we're gonna shoot for butter compression. So if you've ever seen any of Joe Gilder's videos, he used to do this thing called butter compression, which is where you pretty much pin the threshold all the way down and bring up the ratio to get compression. We'll talk about that in a second when we get there. Let's look at the 12 string here. Sounds okay. Drag that same compressor over. These are a little bit hotter, so we should be able to pull them down a little bit here. Nice, sounding good together. All right, I'm gonna put. I think I want to reach for butter compression. We'll see how it sounds here. So I actually have it saved as a preset, butter. So you can see we've got a faster attack and release here, but the threshold is all the way down, and we're gonna get compression by raising the ratio here. I'm gonna go to. I guess we'll leave it right here, and we'll check the ending as well. And I'm gonna turn off stereo link as well. All right, let's add some EQ. So let's get some top end in here. They're kind of dull sounding. There we go. A little bit of 3K. Maybe a touch more mid-range. Yeah, a little bit of the 1K sounds good. I'm curious if they need any more bottom end. I like it. Just trying to get the acoustics balanced with the rest of the band here. They feel like they're overpowering the drums just a little bit at the moment. That's a little better. Okay, now for the lead guitar here, I think I'm going to take a shot at mixing the end. Okay, so I'm gonna get a multi-band in here and make sure that you can see that high mid area jumping up and dominating. From like 1.5K up. So I'm gonna throw a de-esser on and set it attack everything above about 1.5K and use that to take care of this guy here. Now for compression, I'm not quite sure what I want to use. I don't think I want to reach for the 1176. I'm gonna try it here. We'll see what it sounds like, but I think it's gonna be. Okay, I might be wrong. I thought it was gonna make the guitar a little too pokey, but it's sounding good. I am going to add an EQ before the compressor here and do a little bit more work. I'm going to try and lift some of this top end because it is an acoustic guitar. it's starting to kind of fall into place here. I'm gonna pull the overall volume down a little bit and see if I can get it to sit better. That's not sounding too bad. It needs a little bit of effect on it, so let's do that. I'll probably just reach for a normal kind of hall verb. But I am going to take a moment here and just listen through this ending piece here on the speakers. My ears need a little break from the headphones here. So here's our ending slot so far. That sounded okay. So I've set up a quick hall verb here. It's just the recital hall reverb here from inside of Studio One's room reverb. The settings get all weird from the update, so I'm not sure what the negative length and everything is, but I think it's like a 2-second hall with a little bit of pre-delay on it. I'm going to leave the pre-delay on. That way I don't have to throw any kind of delay or anything in front of the reverb to get kind of a guitar style effect here. So from the lead guitar, let's send to this hall verb here and kind of see what we have at the end here. There's a little bit of harshness going on these guys here. And I want to see if I can take care of it. If there's a frequency, I can duck out maybe to try and make this a little bit more pleasant. So that's kind of nasty there. So I'm gonna pull that out and see if that gives us somewhat of a softer sound there on this reintro section here. So that cut helps a little bit on the guitar. You can see we've got a lot of processing going on in the guitar, and that usually worries me because then I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I feel like I'm doing too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop just this harsh section here and see if maybe we can get something sounding good here before we try and match it to the ending section. So that's starting to feel a little bit better. Just that's just the multi-band in the first EQ at this point. I'm getting rid of this top boost. I think is where we're going to end up. Now is where we're going to see if the compressor is actually fighting us. Gonna nuke this 30 EQ. So that's that pokiness I was talking about with the FET comp. And maybe we'll try this. Let's see what this guy can usually be smoother. And we'll go fast release, medium attack. And let's see if we can just dial in something. I want something that's not gonna increase the attack like that. That's not bad. I'm tempted to just go to this guy and go really hard on the attack. No, that's still bad. Maybe the tube comp. Let's see here. We'll go to 3-to-1 ratio. We'll go like a 7 millisecond attack, fastest release here, and see if we can dial in something that's... That's not bad. I kind of like that. So let's see if we can get... It's still giving me a lot of attack, which I'm just not crazy about. But that's the best sound I've gotten so far. Let's see about maybe slowing the attack down even more. But I feel like that, to me, is just going to emphasize the attack. Ooh, that doesn't sound so good, does it? That is very brittle.
for the altar, but I do agree there's times when a woman should.
That sounds great. Cool. Let's try and get the vocal in here now. I'm gonna look at this chorus here, and we're gonna ease the lead vocal in, and then the really beautiful harmonies. Let me show you the beautiful harmonies because they're just.
Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Love me just a little. Meet me in the middle. Meet me.
They just sit together so nicely. We're gonna keep those guys down for the moment and just touch our lead vocal.
Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you care? Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you care? Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you care? Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you? Meet me in the middle.
So the first thing we're doing there, just a little bit of high passing, rolling up to right where the bottom end of the vocal is sitting, around 200 hertz or so. We're at 170 hertz with the high pass, making sure there's not a whole bunch of sub information, especially because we're going to stack more vocals on top of this. I don't want any of those low end frequencies to build up. Then we're pulling out about 3 dB at 300 hertz, 318 hertz, just to reduce some of the muddiness. We're going to get some of this frequency range back here as I compress the vocal. And I'm going to look for the loudest section of the track. So we've got a big peak there, and we've got, looks like a louder pass here. This is where I'm going to set my compressors on the louder pass.
I've been one poor correspondent. I've been too hard to find, but it doesn't. I've been one poor correspondent. I've been too. I've been one poor correspondent. 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 I've been in my eyes. I've been one poor correspondent in my eyes. I've been one poor Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you care? Well, I tried to fake it. I don't mind saying I just can't make it. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in my eyes? I've been one poor correspondent. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me?
So I've got it doing the amount of compression I want. I'm just going to A-B here on this big note. That's where we're doing the most compression. And I want to make sure our volume is good in and out of the compressor.
I've been one poor core. I've been one poor. I've been one poor core.
Cool. That's where I want to be, right there. So now we can come back to this chorus section and we can jump back into our EQ and get some top end in here.
Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you you love me just a little, me just a little, me just a little, just me just a little, me just a little, me just a little, me just a me just a little, me just me just a me just a little, me just a little, me just a little, me just a little, just eat me just a little, meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me?
There was a frequency that was ringing out there. Tucking that down, it was kind of harsh.
Will you love me just? Will you love me? Will you love me just a little? Just meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care. Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care. Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care. Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care.
Boosting some top in there, up at 8K. It's giving it some air, but it brought up too much of the sibilance range for me, so I'm throwing a de-esser on it.
Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care. Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care. Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care. Will you love me just a little? Me just a little.
Okay, this is going to get annoying for a minute.
Me, 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 me.
Okay, all right, back to normal business.
Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care. Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Love me just a little. Just enough to show you care. Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little? Just enough to show you care. Well, I keep on thinking about you, sister golden hair surprise. And I just can't live without you. Can't you see it in my...
So we were a little heavy here at the bottom, literally just a half dB more at 300. I didn't want to do it pre-compression because sometimes I'll tweak the bottom end after everything. So I'm just gonna leave that EQ there for the moment. I'm gonna put our reverb in. I'm gonna set it at the beginning because it's the quietest section.
Well, I tried to make it Sunday, but I got so damn depressed that I set my sights on Monday and I got myself undressed. I ain't ready altar. But I do agree there's times when a woman sure could. Well, I tried to make it Sunday, but I got so damn depressed. Well, I keep on thinking about you, Sister Golden Hair Surprise. Well, I tried to make it Sunday, but I got so damn depressed that I set my sights on Monday and I got myself undressed. I ain't ready for the altar, but I do agree there's times when a woman sure could be a friend of mine. Well, I keep on thinking about you, Sister Golden Hair Surprise, and I just can't live without you. Can't you see it in my eyes? I've been one poor correspondent. I've been too hard to find, but it doesn't mean you ain't been on my mind. Will you meet me in the middle? Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you care? Well, I try. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little, just enough?
Added a little bit more reverb there at the end. The next thing I want to tackle is these background vocals. Now, my only concern is whether or not I'm going to have to separate them, because there's two different parts. There's the chorus,
Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end.
and then there's the verse.
Boom, bop, shoo up.
I think we'll be okay. So I'm going to tackle these guys one at a time here. That's looking pretty crazy. So this vocal first, and it's at its highest peak point here at the end. So I'm going to literally mix these kind of like their lead vocals by themselves. And then we'll reattack them as a package on the bus here. So let's take a listen to this guy here at its loudest point, excuse me.
Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. You love me just. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. You love me just a little, just enough to show you care. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. You love me just. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. You love me just a little, just enough to. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. You love me just a little, just enough to show you care. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. You love me just a little, just enough. You love me just a little, just enough. You love me just a little, just enough to show you care. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. You love me just a little, just enough to show you. You love me just a little, just enough to show you care.
All right, so that one sounded good there. You can see I pretty much treated it like a lead vocal, albeit a little bit more sparse than mixing it like a lead vocal. I didn't get as technical. I'm quite literally just going to copy these settings over to our next guy. And we'll start over and just adjust our points for our next vocal. So let's find the loudest section on this vocal. It looks to be this pass right here. Let's see how we're sounding.
Love me just a little, just love me just a little. Love me just a little, just enough to show. Love me just a little. Love me just a little. Love me just a little, just enough. Love me just a little. Love me just a little. Just love me just a little, just enough. Love me just a little, just enough. Meet me in the air. Love me just a little, just enough to show you care. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. Love me just a little, just enough to show you. Ah, ooh. Meet me in the middle. Meet me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. Love me just a little, just enough.
So these are starting to sound balanced. I'm again bouncing between the chorus and the verse to see if they're sitting together.
Ooh, meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. Love me just a little, just enough to show you care. Meet me in the middle. Meet me.
So we'll just drag the same kind of settings over. Do the same kind of thing here. Start over on our vocal. See, we didn't add any top end to the second vocal either. I don't think it needs it.
Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air.
Let's add a little bit and see what we get.
Love me just meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. Love me just a little, just enough to meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the air. Love me just a little. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Boom bop shoo-wop, boom bop shoo-wop, boom bop shoo-wop, boom bop shoo-wop. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end.
We will have to make one split here, because the ending part is a different harmony than the rest of the song. So we'll just drag that guy down.
Meet me in the middle.
This way we can set the high pass where it needs to be on each.
Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Love me just a little, just enough to meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Love me just a little. Meet me. Love me just a little. Just love me just. Love me just a little. Just enough to meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Love me just a little. Just enough to show you care.
Let's add some top end.
Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Love me just a little, just enough to show you care. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Meet me in the middle. just a little, just enough to meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Love me just a little.
Cool. So I'm gonna replace these three on the last one, not disable, with the three from earlier in the song. We'll just tweak the EQ.
Boom bop shoo up, 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 boom boom bop shoo up, 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 boom bop boom bop shoo up, 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 boom
Add some top end.
shoo up, boom bop 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 shoo up. Boom bop shoo up, 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 boom bop shoo up. Shoo up, boom bop shoo up, boom bop shoo. Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you care?
Cool. Let's tweak these guys as a package here.
In the middle. Meet me in the end.
A little heavy.
Love me just a little, just enough to show you care. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Love me just a meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end.
So I'm kind of doing the opposite of what you probably told to do or what you probably think to do. It's usually more typical to add lower frequencies on the backgrounds than the lead vocal. I like to add higher frequencies, if that makes sense. I feel like it gives more breath and more air to the backgrounds.
Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Love me just a little, just enough to show you care. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Love me just a little, just enough to show you care. Meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Love me just a little, just meet me in the middle. Meet me in the end. Will you love me just a little, just enough to show?
And then a nice trick is to just add the same reverb to the backgrounds.
Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you care? Meet me in the middle. Will you meet me in the end? Will you love me just a little, just enough to show you care? On my mind. Will you meet me in the middle? Will
Cool. That's sounding really, really good for the moment. I'm gonna leave. Well, let me check the end. I want to hear the end.
Don't mind saying I just can't make it. Boom, bop, shoo-wop, 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 boom, bop, shoo-wop.
That sounded pretty good at the moment. Those background vocals are really starting to come into their own. I think I'm gonna have to split them between verse and chorus to set different levels for the verse sections, because it's not just gonna be automating the group bus there. It's gonna be doing different balances on each of the individual tracks for the verse section. But that's okay. The track is sounding really, really good at the moment. It'll just be coming back to do final tweaks and final balances. But other than that, all the EQ, all the compression is there. If a lot of this stuff is new to you, or if some of this stuff is a little bit too complicated or a little bit too in-depth at the moment, and you're looking for something simpler to get you jump-started on mixing, then definitely look down in the description. There's a link to download my free 7-step mixing checklist. It's just a simple PDF, and it'll walk you through simple steps, step by step, to start getting more professional mixes in less time. Thank you so much for hanging with me here today, and hope to see you in another video or in another live stream very, very soon.